MKMVA says a Veterans Association is the only officially recognized and formal structure for ANC military veterans. MKMVA Chair Kebi Maphatui emphasized this amid a spat between MKMVA and the MK Vets Council. Maphatui was briefing the media ahead of the MKVA National Elective Conference set to begin this Friday. He thanked the ANC NEC for confirming its stance on the Veterans Association. Maphatui says all aligned structures and leagues of the ANC will be present at the conference. However, he did say they are not closing their door to the MK Council. Maphathui's comments came after the MK Vets Council yesterday said it would boycott the upcoming ANC policy conference. Council Chair, former MK and SANDF head General Sipiwe Nyanda, called the conference a fruitless exercise. Well, MKMVA Chair Kebi Maphatui joins us live from Mulutuli House. A very good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you so much for joining us on 8 and 7 this afternoon. Well, yesterday, the MK Council veterans boycotted ANC's National Policy Conference. Now, sir, your organization, MKMVA, has announced its participation. For our viewers, please clarify where both the organizations actually stand on this matter.
Look, as MKMVA, we are a constitutional structure that is recognized by the ANC. And hence the ANC has allocated 30 slots for MKMVA NEC members. So after the conference over the weekend, we'll be submitting the names of the delegates of MKMVA who will be attending the policy conference of the African National Congress. We derive our existence from the African National Congress. So whatever the ANC does, we participate in all activities of the African National Congress.
Now, you have announced that President Jacob Zuma has agreed to actually address the delegates at the gathering of the MKVA, this coming after Kasatu's announcement to boycott him. How important is this announcement?
Look, President Jacob Zuma is the president of the African National Congress, which MKMVA derives its existence from. Also, again, President Jacob Zuma is the patron-in-chief of MKMVA and the patron-in-chief of all military veterans in South Africa, as per the Act 18 of 2011. So we are anxiously waiting to hear what the president is going to say to us as the former freedom fighters of the African National Congress. So we are really waiting for the president to come and address us.
And now the MK Council has also distanced itself from the MKVA and its decision to hold a unilateral conference. Now, what do you have to say about this?
We are not holding a unilateral conference. The National Executive Committee of the ANC in its last meeting 2 weeks ago reaffirmed the constitutionality of the MKMVA National Executive Committee elected in 2012 at Beshut Conference as the sole representative structure of all former members of Umkhonto weSizwe. And it has further deployed 10 NEC members of the ANC to come and work with the steering committee of MKMVA from now up to the conclusion of the conference. We appreciate the NEC of the ANC for taking this conference of MKMVA serious, because it is a conference that is going to be inclusive of all detachments of Umkhonto weSizwe. It will be a conference that it's going to discuss the unity of Umkhonto weSizwe and the unity of the African National Congress.
Now, regarding the email saga, you mentioned that coming from the background of soldiers, we know that the people behind these emails are for regime change. What is the possibility of the assessment to be true?
Look, if you check what happened in the last NEC, the Mail and Guardian issued something on a Friday, and on a Sunday we saw City Press and the Sunday Times publicizing something about the emails, and they all allegedly that President Jacob Zuma is involved there. The intention, it was clear that in the NEC, there were NEC members who proposed the motion of the president must step down. And to us it was clear that this was a planned thing in order to influence other NEC members of the ANC to to believe in these leaked emails as if the president is the one who's creating problems for the country and the African National Congress. So this was a well-planned machinery to say, as you discuss in the NEC, there are people who are going to come out and say, let the president step down, look what is happening outside the country, there are these emails, there is this Gupta family. So we as MKMVA were aware that this is a work of the regime change and more is still going to come, and we are ready as MKMVA to defend the revolution.
And you would say that you do support an inquiry into this entire matter?
What we are saying is that we support the establishment of the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to investigate all these email leaks, but it must not only concentrate on the emails. It must start from 1948 up to present, so that we bring all these things we have been complaining about, that our land was stolen from our people, that the economy is still in the hands of the whites. Who are those people who have benefited? Some of the land was stolen, some of the economy is still in the majority of the whites. So we want that Judicial Commission of Inquiry to dig deeper into those people who benefited illegally in the economy of our country.
Now, also, you've also made mention that judges must do their work and interpret the Constitution correctly. They must also respect the separation of powers. Now, there seems to be a tendency now that some of the judges are beginning to not separate the institutions. Please just elaborate on this entire statement.
Look, as MKMVA, we respect the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We respect the arm of the judiciary, and we expect the judiciary to do their role to interpret the Constitution correctly, not to get involved in the political affairs of any other party in the country. Theirs is to make sure that we as politicians, we interpret and understand the Constitution correctly. It would be unfortunate for them if they can get involved in the executive work and also in the legislature work. Their role as judiciary is to make sure that they make us understand the Constitution and interpret it correctly.
And now lastly, the SACP in a step has resolved to sever ties with the ANC in the Free State. How do you react to this?
Say again, ma'am.
Just your reaction with regards to the step taken by the SACP to actually sever ties with the African National Congress in the Free State. What's your reaction with regards to that?
To separate from the SACP?
Has rather resolved to sever the ties with the African National Congress in the Free State. That is a step taken by the SACP. Just your reaction with regards to that.
Look, as MKMVA, we still want the alliance. It's very important to all of us. We still need the SACP. The SACP needs the ANC. As the Secretary General of the ANC said earlier, that if the SACP, it will go its own route, it will affect it very, very badly. And if it moves out of the ANC again, it will also affect the African National Congress. So we need a strong alliance, and I think the ANC is still going to meet with the alliance leaders and try to resolve some of the misunderstandings.
Also, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this afternoon right here on A-Net 7. Well, that was MKMVA Chair Kebi Maphatsui joining us live from the Tuli House, unpacking more details on the briefing they held this afternoon.